You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Tuesday, happy Mars Day, and happy Sagittarius season. We made it. We made it through eclipse season. We made it through Scorpio season. I made it to the live stream today, which was a journey in itself, but we are here. And in this episode, we're going to tap into the Sagittarius energy together. We'll briefly talk about this final day of the moon cycle because tomorrow we have the new moon in Sagittarius. And I'll give you a preview of all the major transits coming up this Sagittarius season because the planner in me sees the planner in you. And it's nice to know what transits we have coming up ahead. Corby says, good evening. Hello from Bree. Hi, Nick. Happy Tuesday from Elena. So ready for Sagittarius season. Oh yes, your Sag rising is going to love this. Once the sun moves into your first house, it's the best vibe. Best vibe. Hi, Rachel. I just got out of therapy and my live popped up. Perfect timing. Divine timing. Anytime I have a day like today where I am pushing back the live stream for one reason or another, I always have to remind myself, divine timing. I'll go live in divine timing. So I'm glad you could make it. Yes. Beautifully said, Rachel. So thankful for the depths and transformation of Scorpio season, but so excited for the expansion. Absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of people here today. Hello, everyone. Finally made it to a live, Tanner says. So aligned for that Saggy sun. Love it. I love starting these forecasts with a look at our notable birthdays. And today there are quite a few, and especially on days like today where we get to play, are they a Scorpio or are they a Sagittarius? Most of these people are giving off Sagittarius vibes, if you ask me. Scarlett Johansson, Hailey Bieber, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jamie Campbell Bower. He is the actor that's been in Twilight, and he played Vecna in Stranger Things, if you've seen it. Mark Ruffalo, okay. Charles de Gaulle. Lots of notable people. Oscar Pistorius, he might be giving off more Scorpio vibes. That's a whole other rabbit hole we won't dive into. But if it's your birthday today, or if you know someone celebrating a birthday today, I would love to know, are they a Scorpio or are they a Sagittarius? And which do they act more like? Because it's likely that they have some planets in both signs. Hi, Diane. All right, let's talk about Sagittarius energy. And you can see it's official on our chart here, the sun at 0 degrees Sagittarius. Anytime a planet is at 29 degrees or 0 degrees, it's like, hello. It's a critical degree. So there's this energy of either restlessness at the 29th degree or eagerness at the 0 degree. And we're probably feeling that eager Sagittarius energy today. Like, we're just so ready to dive right in. So here's a look at the current energy, and let's talk about the sun moving into Sagittarius. What does that mean for the next month for all of us? This is a great point as the sun moves into a new sign to take a look at what house is ruled by that sign in your chart. So if you're not familiar, if you've never gotten a copy of your birth chart, you can scan the QR code over here. You can go to thespiritualjournalist.com/birth chart, put in your birth information. You need to know what time you were born, but doing so can show you, okay, what house is ruled by Sagittarius, and the sun is going to be illuminating that house over the next month and really illuminating themes that are associated with that house. So for my advanced viewers, you can let me know what house is ruled by Sagittarius in your chart. And this is a great way to find out how the new moon tomorrow is going to affect you as well. So if you're not quite there yet, make sure to tune in tomorrow for the new moon episode, because I will tell you what Sagittarius season and the new moon specifically means for you. Is it Francia or Francia? The Italian in me is like, Francia. She says, I am open and ready for the expansion, and she is a Sagittarius. It's your season, my friend. It's your season. So Sagittarius season, what's it all about? And you know what would be kind of fun? If you feel called, throw a word or a phrase in the comments that feels very Sagittarius to you as I start to talk about the energy of Sagittarius. I was raised by a Sagittarius, and my dad is a Sagittarius rising. So I am very familiar with Sagittarius energy in more ways than one. And Sag energy is like more is more. The bigger, the better. It's all about expansion. It's all about optimism, faith, trust in the universe, all these beautiful things, right? In astrology, Sagittarius also rules travel. It rules, ooh, I love this, Corby, our Sagittarius, expansion, growth, fun, freedom. Yes, all beautiful words to describe Sagittarius energy. And I love talking about travel specifically when we talk about Sagittarius energy, because travel is a really powerful form of expansion. We're taking in different cultures. We're gaining higher understanding of the world when we travel. And you also have to be kind of an optimist to go on big trips or travel. It's more about long distance travel, Sagittarius, than short distance travel. You kind of have to be an optimist, like, okay, I'm going to get there all right. Everything's going to go well. You know, travel can be stressful, but Sagittarius people tend to love that adventure, that spontaneity. That's very Sagittarius. Alyssa says, fake it till you make it, is it reminds her of Sagittarius energy. And that brings in that optimism, right? Like, it's all going to work out. Just go for it. That's very Sagittarius in my eyes as well. Rachel says, breaking those chains, not afraid to be yourself. There's definitely a confidence that comes with that optimism. And as Rachel so beautifully said at the beginning of this episode, thankful for the depths and transformation, but excited for the expansion. I love talking about how the astrological seasons build on each other. There's a reason, it's a cycle, it's a wheel, right? Because Scorpio season takes us to the depths of our awareness. It shows us energetic contracts. It shows us our fears, our doubts, our limiting beliefs, everything that's been hiding in the shadows. Sagittarius season feels like the ability to shine light on all of those things and, like Rachel said, break free from those chains. We have the awareness of what's been holding us back. Sagittarius energy gives us the confidence and belief that we can break free from the chains, that we can keep moving forward, that we can expand. It's like the light that comes after the darkness, the light at the end of a dark tunnel, if you will. And the darkness is important. All beautiful things are born out of darkness, but the light is, I think, where it's a little more fun. And Sagittarius energy can be very fun. Life is a party for a lot of Sagittariuses. Again, I have a Sagittarius mother, and that's kind of her experience. There's always a party. There's always something to celebrate. And there's a generosity that comes with Sagittarius energy too. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of abundance. There's more than enough to go around. And I think Sagittarius at its highest expression is very generous. It wants to share information, knowledge, abundance. In the ninth house, which is ruled by Sagittarius, is about publishing and teaching and sharing. So with the Gemini Sagittarius axis, they're opposite of each other on the astrology wheel. And Gemini energy, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks with the Gemini full moon, is more about taking in information, where Sagittarius energy is about sharing that information and putting it to use, which is why Sagittarius is also associated with philosophy, having these higher education opportunities, or being able to talk or understand bigger picture concepts, right? So this might be a time where you end up learning about a new spiritual practice. There's often spirituality associated with this sign too, because there is an element of faith and trust and believing that the universe has your back, that you are taken care of. Again, there's that base level of optimism that we're working with. Corby says, self-doubt came up for me today pretty heavy. Just you wait till we get to the moon's transits. Don't worry if today you're not quite feeling the Sagittarius vibes yet. They will kick in once the moon moves into Sagittarius. Tomorrow is like 0 to 100 full blast Sag energy. But yes, came out on the other side, like Corby is saying, with hope and optimism, ready for this change. A couple people saying Sag rules their 10th house. Love that for you. Great time for expansion in your career. Yes. Yes, Francia, still don't know. We're going to go with the Italian version because I'm partial to Italian. What makes Sagittarius so unique is its dynamic blend of passion, curiosity, intensity, and adaptability. I love that you brought up adaptability, because Sagittarius is a mutable sign. So it's a fire sign. You talk about that passion. It's definitely fiery, right? People with heavy Sagittarius placements, or especially people with Sagittarius moons, I always say they have to move their body. They have to be moving and doing something, because Sag is that fire energy that craves movement. My best friend's dad is a Sagittarius, and he goes on like 100-mile bike rides, and I think he's in his 70s, and he just has all of this energy in him. But like I was saying, Sagittarius is also a mutable sign, so it's very adaptable. And coming back to another one of my favorite Sagittarius is my mom. Her catchphrase is, I could make friends with a doorknob. Like I'm not making that up. That has been her catchphrase my entire life. But she is, put her in any environment and she will make friends. She's super adaptable and can find commonality with anybody, spark up a conversation with anybody. And that's that mutable energy of being able to flow and kind of shape shift depending on who you're around. Tanner says, I'm very excited to begin leading Vision Quest plant medicine retreats in South America coming up. A great time for your career or long-term goals, right? You were saying that you have Sag ruling your 10th house. That sounds incredible. Her description is so on point for everything going on in my life right now, too. It works like that. I can't tell you why, but that's how it works, right? That's the beauty of astrology. So I love how this has been a co-creation already of you all sharing what Sagittarius energy means to you. It's such an abundant sign. I think, if you think of a Sagittarius person in your life, they're usually larger than life personalities, very outgoing, very friendly, very abundant. And so I think it's easy to share about that abundant Sag energy. Rachel, you and me both. 4th house here, ruled by Sagittarius. I feel like this season is for me to lean into the abundance I already have with the people in my life who are my true family. A beautiful way to lean into that energy. Beautiful way. Ooh, and you have Pluto in Sagittarius. Okay, so this could be a pretty transformative time for you, Brie. Once the sun crosses over your Pluto and the moon crossing over your Pluto could be very transformative in a beautiful way, and especially in Sagittarius, okay? I was just on a podcast episode and the host was asking me about Gen Z, and if you can look at a group and tell what they're here to do in the world. So I started talking about Pluto because Pluto is very generational, right? And Gen Zers all have Pluto in Sagittarius. And I told her I hadn't really tapped into, I'm always talking about Pluto and Scorpio, the millennial generation, because that's what I'm feeling. That's what many of us are feeling. But I have a good, optimism, right? I have a good feeling about the Pluto and Sagittarius generation coming into their own. Everyone with Pluto and Sagittarius being able to help transform the collective with optimism. Pluto and Scorpio has really showed us our shadows. Our generation has really had to deal with a lot of shadow work. I think Gen Zers, Pluto and Sagittarius people are going to help us, kind of like Rachel said, break free from those shadows, show us a different way of living, a different way of freedom, a different way of expansion, and hopefully have faith-based transformation. Now, I don't mean faith-based like religion. I mean like trusting the universe, trusting that we have the power to change, changing things from an optimist's lens. I'm hopeful, at least. We'll see. We'll see as Gen Zers come into their own. But a lot of Gen Zers are very like, no, like we can change things. We got to change things. That's how I see them kind of showing up in our collective right now. Yeah, Saturn and Uranus in Sag for you, 6th house. So health and wellness will probably come up for you, Diane. I still don't know where it's at, but your moon is in Sag. Okay, so this new moon is going to be really beautiful for you in the next couple of days, Bailey. She hasn't released the episode yet, but her name is Dr. Lottie, and it's Science with Soul by Dr. Lottie. She is fabulous. She's a medical medium. I've had her on my show. I am obsessed with this woman. She's awesome. You should definitely follow her. Okay, so we talked about Sagittarius energy. We talked about travel, expansion, philosophy, optimism. It's really a time that we can share the deep truths that we came to understand during Scorpio season and use those deep truths as the catalyst for our expansion in this next phase, trusting that we're going to be taken care of, that everything is happening for a reason, that it's going to be all good. Like Sagittarius energy is like, it's good. Don't even worry about it. It always works out. It's going to work out. We got this. That's how this season feels. Very abundant. I'm a Gemini sun and a Sagittarius moon. I love how you say that Gemini are all about taking in information and the Sag is all about sharing that information and putting it to use. So you were born on a full moon then. So like really playing in that duality of Gemini, Sagittarius in your life, which is beautiful. Holding the light when the days are darkest. It'll be a lot easier to find that light, to be in the light, I think, during Sagittarius season. And we have Mercury in Sagittarius, we have Venus in Sagittarius, so we're working with a stellium in Sagittarius, 3 or more planets in this sign, and 2 of those planets being inner planets that really dominate our experience. Now, Mars, being our other inner planet, is in Gemini, so there will be an opposition that plays out during Sagittarius season where Mercury, Venus, and the Sun oppose Mars. We still have probably a couple weeks until that happens, but just something to keep on the horizon. Not one of the major transits we'll be talking about, but in a couple weeks, things could get a little bit, I don't want to say irritating because Sagittarius season allows us to just kind of be like, it's all good, but we could feel a little bit of agitation in a couple weeks. Just something to keep in mind because we've been talking so much about Mars retrograde in Gemini. Before I get to all of the major transits that we're experiencing during Sagittarius season, I just want to talk really briefly about what's been going on with the moon today. This is in preparation for tomorrow's episode. The new moon in Sagittarius is tomorrow, and we'll be talking about what it means for each sign. But The last day of the moon cycle, the last phase of the moon cycle is called the dark moon. We touched on this yesterday, but we have the dark moon in Scorpio. The dark moon is a time of surrender, letting go, forgiveness, going within, getting quiet, being still, just really being in the dark before this new beginning. And the dark moon in Scorpio is really giving us this final opportunity for that purge, that release. So much of the releasing energy that came up during Scorpio season, we're getting this final taste of it today, especially because earlier in the day, actually at 6 a.m., but something that was pretty powerful. The moon formed a conjunction with the south node. So you can see the moon right next to the south node still at this point. And remember, eclipse season is very much associated with the north and south nodes. Eclipses happen on the nodal axis. So all of the eclipses this year have been on the Taurus-Scorpio axis. That'll be the case through the beginning of next year as well. So we had the solar eclipse in Scorpio and the lunar eclipse in Taurus. With the moon making this final pass over the south node in this cycle, it's really giving us that final purge, that final awareness of darkness, shadows, fears that needed to be released. So I believe it was Corby saying that, yeah, some of that darkness came up for her today. And then when she released it, she was able to see that light, see that optimism again. You might have felt that today as well. I certainly know I did. Yes, Corby, that's what today has felt like. All the old residue that wasn't addressed coming up to be acknowledged, reviewed, and released. So even tonight, you might still be feeling that at this moment. The moon is still in a loose conjunction with the south node. This is just this final taste of eclipse season, if you ask me. And I've been dealing with physical pain all day. I'm like, oh, okay. Not that that can necessarily be like released, but any emotional pain, any doubts, any of that darkness, any of that crap that you've been working through Scorpio season, if it's coming back up, if it's rearing its head again, observe it, acknowledge it. Exactly like Corby said, sharing her beautiful wisdom in the chat, coming up to be acknowledged, reviewed, and released. So beautiful. So that was the transit that we felt first thing today. Might have felt that darkness coming up, and maybe we're even seeing like, yes, it's Sagittarius season, woo! And you're like, what the hell? I don't feel it yet. You will definitely by tomorrow. Definitely by tomorrow. Two other quick transits to talk about with the moon. So this afternoon, what we're still feeling lingering right now is an opposition between the moon and Uranus. So you can see the moon when it was at 16 degrees making this opposition to Uranus. This can create disruptions, mood swings, upsets, but I see this more as a change of pace. Uranus, the planet of change, the planet of disruption. With the moon opposing Uranus, we're like really craving that change, almost needing a thrill, looking for that spontaneity of Sagittarius season to kick in. So in the grand scheme of things, I see the opposition to Uranus as that like change energetically, like, okay, we're ready, we're anticipating the good vibes from Sagittarius season to kick in. If they're not, we might be a little irritable, we might be a little disruptive, or there is a chance that you just are feeling the excitement. The sun is at 0 degrees, there's this eagerness, and if you're not getting the thrill that you're looking for, you might find yourself or other people kind of poking to try to create your own thrill or their own thrill, to kind of try to create their own disruption. So we don't want to do that. Luckily, that's passing right now. But just notice if you are doing anything that's like a little bit more impulsive. Ooh, Tanner says I had to delete and reinstall a bunch of firmware and drivers on my PC today. Uranus in the 3rd house. Yeah, the moon opposing Uranus also can create some tech issues. Uranus rules technology, so that makes sense. Definitely. Yeah. But you know, we're not letting the disruptions get the best of us. The sun's in Sagittarius now. We're taken care of. It's all part of a higher plan, right? Embracing the change, letting the change pass. Now, the final connection the Scorpio moon makes today. Actually, it's late tonight and it might be overnight depending on where you live. But at 11 p.m. Pacific time, the moon forms a trine to Neptune. So we have the watery Scorpio moon harmonizing with Neptune and Pisces, also a water sign. And let me see if I can get this to pop up here. We'll go ahead. One more hour. Here we go. Okay, so you can see that trine starting to play out there. I really want to talk about this for a moment because I want to encourage you to pay attention to your dreams tonight, especially with the moon and Neptune in water signs. Our intuition is heightened. Neptune rules our subconscious, so you could have powerful messages coming through in your dreams. If you're someone who normally has vivid dreams, tonight would be a great night to like really pay attention to them. Keep a journal next to your bed. And especially with the dark moon in Scorpio connecting with Neptune, sometimes our subconscious is more aware of those things that need to be released than our conscious mind is. So just pay attention. If you have some weird dreams, it might be like, okay, this is the final thing that needs to be released, or it wants my attention before the new moon in Sagittarius, before this new abundant beginning that we'll be talking about tomorrow. But I would imagine that we're going to have some vivid dreams tonight. Those of us who normally have vivid dreams, or even those of us who don't normally have vivid dreams, pay attention to the messages that come through. There are no coincidences. You might also late night be feeling a little bit more creative, compassionate. Neptune helps with all that too. Maybe even more imaginative, like you want to watch a fantasy movie, or you might feel creative late tonight. Neptune is beautiful for that. So that's what's going on with the moon today. Full permission, the final day of the moon cycle. If you're not yet feeling the good vibes, they are coming. And that leads us into what else is coming up this Sagittarius season. And honestly, the most potent day of Sagittarius season feels like it might be tomorrow. So we have 2 transits that are actually happening tomorrow. And you can find all of these graphics on my Instagram, which is just this handle right here, or at the.spiritual.journalist. If you want to come back to them at any time, or you can always come back to this video. But I'm just going to briefly go through each major transit, major energetic shift that's coming up this Sagittarius season. The first being tomorrow's new moon in Sagittarius. The new moon in Sagittarius, this will be the first new moon since eclipse season, the first moon that we are verified to manifest under. No, you can manifest anytime you want. There are no rules. I fully believe there are no rules when it comes to spirituality, but don't really recommend manifesting under eclipses. This marks the official end of eclipse season in my eyes. The new moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarius being the sign of abundance, of manifestation, all these things, is a beautiful time to manifest because it's easier to believe that what we're seeing, the vision we have for our lives, is possible. This new moon brings good fortune as well. Sagittarius energy is all about good luck, positivity, positive energy. And it might be the beginning of some sort of adventure or opportunity, some sort of expansion in your life. So I won't dive too deep into this because we will be talking about it so much tomorrow. And again, what it means for each sign, but get excited. Get excited, bottom line. Okay, also happening tomorrow, literally minutes after the new moon is exact minutes. So pretty much at the exact same time as the new moon, Jupiter stations direct. Remember, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So again, there are no coincidences, right? But Jupiter is stationing direct. I'm trying to adjust the lighting here. It's very dark in here. Very dark in here right now. I'm not used to it. There are no coincidences. Jupiter's retrograde began on the Leo new moon and it ends on the Sagittarius new moon. So there's this element of fire that we're definitely playing with here, right? And it's been 4 moon cycles of Jupiter's retrograde. We've been really reviewing a lot of our growth, a lot of our expansion. When Jupiter stations direct, it's like we have full faith, especially because Jupiter has moved back into Pisces during this time. So we're able to continue our expansion, but also we have this amplified sense of belief and faith and understanding as we do it. This is the time to dream big. Jupiter stationing direct. We are really going to feel Jupiter's power tomorrow with the moon and sun in Sagittarius, Mercury and Venus as well, and then Jupiter stationing direct in Pisces, where it loves to be. Jupiter is the traditional ruler of Pisces. So really, this is renewed trust and just really lighting the fire of expansion again, continued growth, moving forward in our growth. I'm very excited for tomorrow. If you couldn't already tell, yeah, we made it through eclipse season, and it's like all the optimism, all the good fortune just kicks into high gear with Jupiter and the new moon tomorrow. Then we don't have anything going on for about another week or so when Neptune stations direct. So actually, another podcast I was on recently, my friend Christina Hollinger, she's a feng shui expert, and she has a podcast. We talked about planning your holidays by the planets. And we talked about eclipse season and Scorpio season and how intense it was probably going to be. But then when I looked at Sagittarius season, the overall energy, it's like multiple planets are coming out of retrograde and stationing direct. We have, especially Jupiter and Neptune, like, yes, please. We have the new moon in Sagittarius. We have the full moon in Gemini. We have all of this like abundant, social, light, positive energy over the next couple weeks. And Neptune stationing direct really adds to that. So Neptune has been retrograde also since a new moon, but 1 month prior, the Cancer new moon on June 28th. And we've been really reviewing our beliefs, the illusions we're buying into, maybe even creative projects over the past 5 months. We might have even realized where we weren't asserting boundaries or where boundaries had been blurred a little bit. I know that's been coming up for a lot of people, but Neptune stationing direct actually creates more fogginess. Neptune's retrograde was like pulling back the curtain and seeing what was going on behind the scenes. Neptune direct brings that curtain closed again, and it's like, oh, no, the illusion can resume. Now, that sounds scary, that sounds bad. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can think of the curtain kind of as the veil. It brings through more mysticism, more magic when Neptune is direct. I love that Neptune stations direct right as December begins, right as we're really getting into the holiday season. It's allowing for that magic, that, mystery almost of not fully understanding things, but believing them anyway. It's like Santa, Like, how does he get around to every house in the world? We don't know, but it's magic and we love it, right? So Neptune's fog is going to be setting back in, but with it, it brings a lot of that fantasy and creativity and spirituality, renewed sense of faith and belief as Neptune stations direct. And you might even find yourself gaining newfound belief over the next couple weeks with both Jupiter and Neptune, these two planets that are associated with faith and belief and religion and philosophy, stationing direct again. It's like we can kind of correct course on our faith. And maybe you have different beliefs than you did since these retrogrades started, and that's okay too. But I really just see a lot more faith in the next couple weeks, and I am personally here for it. So that's December 3rd. Then December 6th, we start to get some Capricorn energy kicking in. Mercury enters Capricorn on December 6th. Now, Mercury and Capricorn. On a base level, Mercury and Capricorn is like practical communication. It's like serious talks, business deals. It's talking about success, talking about money, understanding our own success, observing our own success. But there's a warning here. Beware of coming across as cold or harsh. We can be overly practical with Mercury and Capricorn. My partner has Mercury and Capricorn, and he is a Capricorn. And lately, especially, I've been like, I cannot tell how you feel when you talk. Like, I can't tell. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic. I can't tell if you're mad. I can't tell. It's just like one tone for everything. Luckily, I have astrology as an ally to be like, this is just part of your blueprint. This is just part of your makeup. It's all good. But, you know, I have Mercury in Libra. I'm like, I want everything to seem beautiful as I'm saying it. And he's like, no, what I say is what I mean, period. So, you know, I'm sure he doesn't love me using him as an example, but that's okay. That's what he signed up for when he encouraged me to start this live stream. So we don't want to all be cold and harsh while we're talking to each other. Luckily, we're still going to be feeling the vibes of Sagittarius season, and we can have that generosity infused into everything we do. But this is not a warm and fuzzy communication energy. It's like getting to the facts. It's very masculine communication. So even like for the women out there watching this, do you notice like when you type an email, you're always like, thank you so much, and hello, and how are you? And like being overly like analytical about how your email is coming across. And then like a coworker or a friend who is a man who emails you is like, hello, please get this done. Thanks. Bye. Period. That's Mercury and Capricorn. And I mean, I've seen memes about it. I've seen videos about it where it's like, why do we do this as women? Where we're like, oh my gosh, I hope they think we're nice. You add ha-has to the end of things just to like make it seem lighter and happier. Mercury and Capricorn is like, no, screw the ha-ha. Cut, period. It's just a period, right? So it's very direct, matter of fact, great for business, great for negotiations. But if we're wanting to have compassionate conversations, it does take a little more effort to be empathetic. Now, I do want to say one more thing about Mercury and Capricorn. You can probably hear my dogs chiming in too. Corby says my Mercury is in Cap. Got a lot of Capricorn in my chart, and that's true. We can be hard to read and come off cold, but you are aware of it, right? So, and you at least have a lot of Sag energy too, where we'll be feeling like that. We'll be feeling like, okay, the communication is more direct, but there's a general energy of good vibes. Yeah. Yes, please. Jupiter is stationing direct to Pisces, my rising sign. Yes. You are definitely moving into alignment with everything you've told me about your chart with your Sagittarius, Gemini energy. I feel like this season is going to feel really, really good for you. Then my rising sign, crazy. So, yeah. The on autocorrect. Hopefully we let. Okay, hold on. I gotta. I can't understand this. I'm trying, but I can't. Okay, so the one thing I do want to say, I love how I'm like, I can't understand this. I'm trying to, but I can't. This really is a great segue into what I'm about to tell you. Mercury is going to go retrograde on the 29th, December 29th. So right before New Year's, Mercury's like, haha, you thought you were going to get out of 2022 easily? No. We're going to station retrograde. Mercury will be in Capricorn through mid-February. I think it's February 11th. So once Mercury goes into Capricorn, we're going to be here for a while. Okay? Just a fair warning. And like Bailey, just don't mind my comments. Like me trying to understand what you're saying and like really wanting to understand, that's the energy of Mercury retrograde, right? So you've been warned. Mercury is going to be retrograde at the end of the year. We have plenty of time before we get there, but I like to give you a heads up. That's the next time Mercury is going retrograde. Feel like so much is going on this year for me. I got that, Bailey. I got that. And yes, but I love how you said, feel like so much is going on this year for me. Not so much is happening to me, but so much is happening for you this year. I love that. Okay, so that's Mercury. Then on December 7th, we have a full moon in Gemini. So the sun will be in Sagittarius, the moon will be in Gemini. And this full moon in Gemini, I really think it's the last full moon of the year, and it's going to illuminate what we've learned this year, what we're still learning this year, who we've connected with. We're going to feel more social and outgoing. Holiday parties will be going on this week, I'm sure, the first week of December, the second week. So it's going to be a really powerful time to make connections, to make friendships with other people. Our network is our greatest asset, and the full moon in Gemini really illuminates the connections we've made, the information we've learned from those connections. There is an enhanced ability to adapt to whatever environment we find ourselves in, coming back to that mutable energy, our mutable signs, Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Gemini, really going to be feeling this full moon especially. And so you might have an awareness of how you're shape-shifting to vibe with certain people, whether that's good or bad. It's up to you. And this is also a really powerful full moon, if you ask me, to meet new people, try new things. Gemini energy is all about variety and making those connections. So maybe you get invited to a holiday party and meet someone you've never met before, or you decide to go to an event. If you are looking for connection, I think this full moon could be a powerful time to find it. Even if you're not, you might find yourself craving stimulating environments, something new to observe, to learn under that full moon in Gemini, the last full moon of the year. And then our final transit we'll talk about is Venus moving into Capricorn. So Mercury will be in Capricorn, then Venus moves into Capricorn. Now, this year, Venus in Capricorn is a lot easier to deal with than last year. Venus moved into Capricorn last December as well, and it was there for a long time, and we had that long Venus retrograde in Capricorn at the beginning of the year. This time, it's just in Capricorn for a couple weeks, and I feel like I know there are no coincidences that this is happening right around the holidays, because Venus in Capricorn is like long-term commitment, time to get serious about love, time to get serious about money. I'm sure there will be, like there is every year, a million proposals popping up with Venus in Capricorn during Capricorn season. But that's because this transit brings our focus on the long-term potentials of current partnerships, current relationships, current investments, with Venus being the planet of love, money, and beauty. Venus in Capricorn wants us to observe whether our desires, whether our current relationships can stand the test of time. Capricorn energy is associated with time and the long term. I can see too, with Venus in Capricorn, us being more drawn to like timeless displays of beauty, Venus being the planet of beauty. So like black and white holiday movies, the classics. There's just like a sense of upholding tradition with Venus and Capricorn, paying respect to the people who came before us, and connecting to our ancestors, to the wisdom of the people who came before us, and finding a sense of relationship there. So I think that could be a really beautiful way to tap into this energy, rather than thinking about, you know, the charges we're making on our credit card during the holiday season. We're going to be more thinking about our long-term financial wealth. And a question to ask yourself with Venus and Capricorn would be, you know, as you reflect on your values, also ruled by Venus, what does success really mean to you? Capricorn's all about success, what we're climbing towards, and reflecting on our values around success, because we all have different definitions of success, right? And knowing what success really looks like and feels like to you can help you get there faster. So this is an opportunity with Venus and Capricorn for these couple weeks to review our values through a very practical, serious lens. It's not the most fun Venus transit, but especially for the earth signs out there, we love Venus and Capricorn. We're like commitment, you know, like, will we stand the test of time? We need the answers. We need to be practical about this. I do appreciate that Mercury will be conjoined with my Venus for an extended time due to the retrograde. Yeah, I love my Pisces Sag being optimistic. Well, we love that. We love toxic optimism, toxic positivity here. I'm right there with you. But yes, there's always an opportunity with every transit, and you're already onto something. Mercury will be conjoined your Venus, making you more aware of your relationships. Maybe you'll be reviewing relationships even with that Mercury retrograde. But you're already a couple steps ahead of the game. So when that starts to happen, when that starts to come up, you'll already have that frame to look through. And like I said, you can find this post on my Instagram right now if you want to come back to it at any point. It is there for you. So that's what's coming up. We got a lot going on. Not too many transits, but a lot of energetic shifts. Like we're really kicking into Sagittarius energy. Of course, Capricorn season will start on December 21st on the winter solstice. So after December 9th, after Venus moves into Capricorn, we have this like 10, 11, 12-day lull where there aren't any planetary shifts. And then the holidays are a whole different story. And we'll get into that as Capricorn season gets closer. But I want to return to our affirmation of the day. I am optimistic about my future. I'm optimistic about my future. Just really leaning into that optimism. Yes, might have had a difficult time during Scorpio season, during the eclipses. That's okay. But the future is full of opportunity for each and every one of us. And all we really have to do is be open to the possibilities. So I encourage you to find that optimism and expect positive things. That's half of manifestation, is expecting a good outcome, expecting and knowing that you are going to be carried through whatever is on the way for you, having that faith, having that trust. And we'll finish up today with a tarot pull from the Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. This just feels very optimistic and happy for Sagittarius season. You know the drill. Ask your questions. Let me know what transit you're looking forward to most, what big plans you have for Sagittarius season if you're traveling anywhere. It's a big time of year for travel. We have Thanksgiving, we have the holidays. So let me know. Let me know what you're most excited about. I'm just excited for the energy to lift in general. I'm ready for that. Definitely ready for it. And I want to go back too, because a few of you were saying such sweet things, and I want you to know that I saw them. I still don't know how to say your name, but I'm going with Italian. Francia said, so in love with Olivia's channel and how interactive it is. Thank you. I love that you're here, and I love that you're able to be here live with us and share the energy and share your optimism. I am optimistic about my future. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. If you're joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's all just take a moment and take a deep breath together, the deepest breath we've taken all day. Here we go. Breathe in. And release. What do we need to know? Ooh, Sisterhood of the Rose, Beauty and Devotion, Priestess, Mystic, Teacher. I love that this card says teacher because Sagittarius is the teacher. It's all about sharing knowledge. If Gemini is the student, Sagittarius is the teacher. So already in alignment, of course it is. And let's see what else the guidebook has for us. The Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devoted their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross-section of ancient lineages, it is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry of all life. You're being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. You're being called to spend more time in nature, as all the ancient secrets live there. Mother Earth is constantly whispering. Spend time admiring her creations, and you will be rewarded with insight and grace. You're being called to take a little more time to both notice the beauty that exists all around you and contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way, too. This could be through your own creations or in the little things like how you dress to picking flowers for your home. Every time you devote your time to creating beauty, you harmonize the planet a little more, and the shift in vibration can be felt. Surround yourself with beauty and create beauty wherever you go. I love this. I love that it talks about seeing the beauty and sharing the beauty, because I think it's a little easier to see the beauty in the world during Sagittarius season. We're looking through those rose-colored glasses in so many ways. But also, I love the line where it says, you're being called to take a little more time to both notice the beauty that exists and contribute to the beauty of the world in your own way too. Coming back to that generosity, that sharing aspect of Sagittarius energy. How can you share your unique beauty, your unique perspective, your gifts with the world? And that's really what I see this card asking us to do. Tanner says, I love that card. Intending to step into more and more of my divinity. We are all the stars' favorite seeds. Ooh, I love that too. I'm going to put that in my back pocket. We are all the stars' favorite seeds. That was deep. Love it. And I want to leave you with one last visual for Sagittarius season. Something we didn't talk about, but that I feel needs to be said. Sagittarius is the sign of the archer, right? And so you can almost picture eclipse season, Scorpio season, like that resistance, like pulling back, what's it called? The bow, the string. You know what I'm talking about. You're on board with my visual. It's like that resistance, that hard work that we had to do to like face our fears. Are we strong enough? If you've ever tried to do archery or shoot a bow and arrow, you know it's not easy. It's not as easy as people make it look. Now, Sagittarius season, this new moon that we'll dive into tomorrow is like the release and letting everything you gained during that hardship propel you forward. So if you're feeling resistance, if you're feeling stuck, know that it's part of the bigger picture of expansion, of release, of shooting into the future with that optimism. Yes, the quiver for the bow. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. So yeah, come back to that visual. If you're feeling a little lost, if you're feeling a little resistance, know that it's all part of the process of propelling you forward. And I also want to remind you, I haven't talked about this much this week, but for the next couple days, you can join. I hate selling stuff, but I'm really excited about this. And so many of you are already signed up for my course, my group journaling course that I'm starting on the Aquarius new moon, January 21st. It'll be 4 weeks and it will be all of us together. I'll send you 4 different modules teaching you how to understand your own birth chart, how to understand the planetary movements, and then how to apply them to your chart. So when you're watching these forecasts, you can, like some of you already have in the chat, say, okay, this planet's going to be crossing over this planet in my chart, and this is what it means for me, because you are your own best astrologer always. And I want to empower you to do that. So you'll get daily journal prompts. We'll meet together once a week over Zoom. So you'll all get to actually talk with each other and meet each other. Those of you who come on here all the time, which is going to be really fun. And through the end of the week, it's $88 for the entire month. Then it will go up to the full price of $111 through the program launching in January. So I really see this as a great way for you to set yourself up for success in the new year, send light ahead for yourself. We're not starting until January 21st, so you don't have to feel like, okay, January starts and we're going straight in. It gives you a couple weeks to integrate into the new year and then join our group together. So just wanted to let you know that is still on sale, not quite as low as it was, but not as much as it will be. It will never be this inexpensive again. Yes, Rachel says, join us. It is going to be so much fun. I'm really excited and lots of ideas are still coming through. So I can't wait to see how it all comes together. Nick says, sell all the stuff you need to. Keep your channel going. Well, in that case, you can also shop merch at thespiritualjournalist.com/shop. I'm just kidding. That's already pre-programmed to tell you when I end the live stream. Join the planet world. We have cookies. Yeah, we're like a little group. Like, come join our group. Well, I hope you're starting to feel the lift, the lightness, the expansion of Sagittarius season. I hope this video helped you tap into that energy, gave you a little bit more optimism than you were already feeling. Really excited for tomorrow's episode to talk all about the new moon and Jupiter stationing direct. It's going to be a beautiful energy. And yeah, have a beautiful beginning to your Sagittarius season. If you found this video helpful or if you're new here, please like it. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so we can keep these videos coming to you for free every weekday. And I will see you all soon. But until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.